Did you know? Over 900 people died in the Jonestown Massacre, led by a single man. This is their tragic story. On November 18, 1978, over 900 people faced a tragic end in Jonestown. This event captured the world's attention. The world was left in disbelief and horror. Stay tuned for more. Like this video and subscribe to our channel for more in-depth documentaries on shocking historical events. Jim Jones was born in rural Indiana in 1931. His early years were spent in a small, tight-knit community. His childhood was marked by poverty and isolation, which deeply influenced his worldview. From a young age, Jones was fascinated with religion, often seen reading the Bible. As he grew older, Jones's ambition expanded alongside his growing congregation, setting the stage for his future endeavors. In 1955, Jim Jones founded the People's Temple in Indianapolis. It was a time of great social change. The church was racially integrated, which was unusual for the time. People were drawn to Jones's message of social justice and equality. He demanded absolute loyalty from his followers, creating a strong, devoted community. Jim Jones's charisma was undeniable. He had a magnetic presence that drew people in. He had an uncanny ability to connect with people on a deep level, making them feel seen and heard. This charisma masked a darker side of manipulation and control. This toxic mix of charisma and control ultimately led to a devastating tragedy. In the early days, the People's Temple presented itself as a progressive force. The temple actively fought for social justice, organizing numerous events and rallies. It advocated for racial equality, standing alongside other civil rights groups. This unwavering commitment to social causes attracted many followers who believed in the temple's mission. The People's Temple offered more than religious teachings. It was a place where people from all walks of life could come together. It provided a sense of belonging and unity, a community where everyone felt they had a place. But this sense of belonging came at a price as Jim Jones's influence grew stronger over his followers. The community's unity was built on the foundation of Jones's control, leading to devastating consequences. As the People's Temple grew, so did Jones's power. He became more influential and charismatic, drawing in more followers. However, with this increased power, he also became more controlling and demanding. Doubts started to grow among the members. Whispers of dissent and unease began to spread as people questioned Jones's true intentions. By the mid-1970s, the People's Temple had reached a turning point. Jim Jones decided to relocate his entire community to a remote jungle settlement in Guyana. He called this new home Jonestown. Jones promised his followers a utopia. The move to Guyana was shrouded in secrecy. Jones instilled fear in his followers. The journey to Jonestown was arduous. Despite the hardships, the temple members remained optimistic. They believed in Jones's vision of a better life. The early days in Jonestown were marked by hope and a sense of purpose. Members worked tirelessly to build their new community, believing they were creating a utopia. Under the watchful eye of Jim Jones, who controlled every aspect of their lives, they toiled on. Despite the hard work, there was a sense of camaraderie and shared vision among the members. Cracks in Jonestown's utopian facade widened. Jones, unstable, tightened his grip on the community. Fear and paranoia permeated every corner of Jonestown, leaving no one untouched. The dream of paradise had turned into a nightmare, with no escape in sight. Life in Jonestown was governed by a strict routine. Every day, residents followed a regimented schedule that left little room for personal freedom. Every aspect of their lives was dictated by Jim Jones from the moment they woke up to the moment they went to bed. This lifestyle took its toll on everyone, leading to physical and mental exhaustion. The constant pressure and lack of autonomy wore down the community over time. As time passed, Jim Jones's paranoia and need for control intensified. He ruled Jonestown with an iron fist. Public humiliation and punishment were common. Residents lived in perpetual anxiety, always fearing the next punishment. The atmosphere was suffocating, with fear permeating every aspect of life. Despite the climate of fear, whispers of discontent began to circulate within Jonestown. The initial enthusiasm for Jones's utopian vision had waned. The harsh realities of life under his rule became difficult to ignore. They began to realize the paradise was a sham. The seeds of rebellion were quietly being sown. As Jim Jones consolidated his control over Jonestown, he began to isolate his followers from the outside world. He monitored their every move, ensuring that no one could escape his watchful eye. Jones established a network of informants, creating an atmosphere of fear and mistrust. This constant surveillance and isolation made it nearly impossible for anyone to leave or dissent. To maintain control over his followers, Jim Jones used sleep deprivation, public humiliation, and threats of violence. One of the most terrifying methods was white nights. These surprise events occurred in the dead of night. Residents already on edge would gather, fearing punishment. Jones would deliver rambling speeches, often for hours. He ranted about enemies and warned of attacks. Jones demanded absolute obedience in Jonestown. He tolerated no dissent. The Red Brigade maintained order. Armed guards punished disobedience. His methods instilled fear. Fear was a tool to ensure control. By 1978, Jonestown had descended into a terrifying abyss. Jim Jones, consumed by paranoia, tightened his grip on the isolated community. His sermons, broadcast through loudspeakers, became increasingly bizarre and unhinged. He railed against invisible enemies and demanded unwavering loyalty. The once hopeful atmosphere of Jonestown had evaporated, replaced by dread and despair. The darkness deepened with each passing day. As Jonestown spiraled deeper into darkness, a glimmer of hope emerged. Concerned family members formed the concerned relatives. They lobbied the U.S. government to investigate Jonestown. In November 1978, Ryan and others arrived in Guyana. Some residents slipped notes to journalists pleading for help. These notes were cries for rescue from the nightmare they were living. Congressman Ryan's visit, meant as a fact-finding mission, quickly turned into a desperate race against time. As more residents wanted to leave Jonestown, the situation grew tense. Jones, sensing a loss of control, became unpredictable. As they attempted to board a plane, tragedy struck. Jones's armed guards opened fire, spraying the airstrip with bullets. Ryan, several journalists, and one defector were killed. The remaining defectors fled into the jungle, their fate uncertain. Following the deadly assault on the airstrip, dread descended upon Jonestown. The atmosphere was thick with fear and uncertainty. Jim Jones addressed his followers one last time, his voice filled with a chilling resolve. He urged them to drink cyanide-laced flavor aid, promising it was the only way to escape their suffering. Over 900 people perished in the Jonestown Massacre, leaving a haunting legacy that still resonates today. The aftermath of the Jonestown Massacre was a scene of unimaginable sorrow and devastation. The once thriving community lay in ruins, a macabre monument to unchecked power and fanaticism. Hundreds of bodies lay scattered, a tragic mosaic of lives cut short. The silence was deafening, a haunting reminder of the cost of blind devotion. News of the Jonestown Massacre sent shockwaves across the globe. The scale of the tragedy left people reeling. The massacre dominated headlines, sparking fear and fascination with cults. It was a moment that changed the world's perception of cults forever. The Jonestown Massacre remains one of the most harrowing events in modern history. Over 900 bodies scattered across a remote jungle settlement, a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked authority. The legacy of Jonestown endures, a stark warning to future generations. We must remember, to ensure such a tragedy never happens again. The Jonestown Massacre reminds us that cults can appear as harmless groups promoting self-improvement or spiritual enlightenment. Recognizing cult warning signs is crucial. One red flag is a charismatic leader demanding absolute loyalty. These leaders discourage critical thinking and isolate their followers. Cults use control and manipulation to maintain power and suppress dissent. Preventing cult influence requires education, critical thinking, and strong social connections. Understanding cult tactics helps protect individuals. Education is vital in safeguarding against cults. Schools, communities, and families should inform about cult dangers. Critical thinking helps resist manipulation. Strong social connections foster resilience. Maintaining relationships provides a buffer against cults. Open communication about cults is crucial. Did you find this historical deep dive fascinating? Smash that like button to help us get the word out. Leave a comment with your thoughts and be sure to subscribe and share for more intriguing history videos.